Now, I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
He said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of your love.
5 of my customers have committed. That's how serious that this is.
And what it costs for us to farm is astronomical now.
I farm with paid-for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old, and I can't hardly make this deal work. I think the tariffs are the ice cream on the cake of a perfect storm.
After a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
We made a decision to go out this year in the spring. So my son will not be the seventh generation on our farm.
We're going to lose 25 or 30% of the farmers in this country if they don't do something. It has to be done, and it's not just here. It's everywhere.
Just say I was at all soybeans and $150 an acre loss. You're looking at $450,000 a loss. For just doing my job, I'm paying an additional $450,000 instead of making anything. I've never seen a crisis like this. Without intervention, we're talking about generational loss of farmers.
In the last year, farm bankruptcies here in Arkansas have nearly doubled.
The tariffs are a problem, but think of it as being in a coffin, and we're going to nail the lid shut. The tariffs are the final nail.
If there's no emergency funding this year, there will be 1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
Arkansas farmers are crying bankruptcy, begging the government for bailouts. And you know what? They voted for this. Trump's tariffs, Trump's inflation, Trump's big beautiful bill that doesn't pay a damn dime. And
so I saw that the soybean farmers in the state of Arkansas are having a find out phase. And you know what I hate to say? I told you so. No, seriously, I'm really sick and tired of the fact that the left keeps having to say, I told you so, because we didn't want anybody to suffer, okay? We voted for everybody to survive and thrive, and you voted for the suffering of other people, and here we are. You are actually the one who is paying the price and suffering, because you can't sell your soybeans to China because what's that? Tariffs. You can't get that new farming equipment that you needed because of why? Tariffs. Didn't the experts tell you that? Didn't people warn you this would happen? But no, you let your internalized hate, racism, and misogyny override literal facts that were right there in front of your face that made you vote against your own best interests. And here you are, expecting a government bailout yet again. You didn't want anybody else to get government bailouts. That's socialism, and you don't like that. So what makes you so different and so deserving when you voted against government money going to anybody who has stumbled upon a hard time? Why do you get it? What makes you better than other people? Again, I don't like that we are having to say, I told you so. Okay, I wanted you to do well. I wanted you to survive and thrive. But this is what you voted for.
Welcome to this Arkansas farmers meltdown. It seems like Arkansas farmers, what they voted for is not paying off well, or it is not going on well with them. Unfortunately, most of them are admitting that after they voted for Donald Trump, they have never been bankrupt before, but after they voted for Donald Trump, this is when they started experiencing the reality of bankruptcy. Because, well, immediately when Trump landed into office, he imposed tariffs on even farmers who voted for him, like these Arkansas farmers. These tariffs are affecting their farm tools and equipment, their imported products, and their exported products. And also, you should also remember that Donald Trump enforced strict border policies that led to mass deportation, and unfortunately this mass deportation have affected their workers. So in short, they are going bankrupt, tariffs are affecting them, and they don't have workers who are immigrants to work in their farms. Now they are crying, asking for welfare, begging Donald Trump for bailouts, and you see crying all over social media, doing interviews saying in the next few days or years or months they will officially be bankrupt, all because they voted for Donald Trump. In this video, let's watch what folks had to say about this, then we shall be diving into it.
Breaking news. Maga soybean farmers across the southern United States are crying and complaining about the Chinese not buying our soybeans. What? The Chinese are not buying our soybeans because of Trump's tariffs, where they have in turn placed tariffs on our soybeans and made them so expensive that we can't sell soybeans to China, and China is one of the biggest buyers of soybeans in the world. What? Well, MAGA farmers, who did you vote for? MAGA farmers, we tried to tell you this would not be a pretty picture. MAGA farmers, you not remember back in 2018, 2017, and Trump had another tariff war with China, and the same thing happened? Well, did you not expect it to happen again? There was about a $15 or $16 billion bailout. Socialism for the farmers. Oh, it's okay for you all to get payments when Trump messes up the economy on soybeans and causes China.
Man, all I'm seeing is farmers in Arkansas, Nebraska. Why y'all crying? Shut up. This is what you voted for. This is what you asked for. He did it to you last time, and you didn't think he was going to do it to you this time. So now y'all want some help. Now y'all want them government subsidies. Now y'all want that government money. The same thing that you voted for not to happen, for people not to get government help. Now you got your hands stuck out. Don't work like that. You made this bed. All that racism, all that hate, the same people you wanted to go are the same people that work those farms. See, you let your racism get the best of you. Now, all I see is Arkansas farmers. Oh, I'm about to lose my farm. The government ain't doing this. The government, you voted for this shit. Now you just got to eat it. But meanwhile, you see my black farmers over there. My black farmers that ain't been getting that government help, that's been doing it on their own. They fine. They chilling. They thriving. So you might need to call some of them black people to get you some help. Oh, but you ain't going to do that. You're not going to do that. You're going to call Trump and them. But you know what? They're not going to answer. They're not going to help you, brother. So, just like they tell us, them bootstraps you've been talking about, I don't think you're going to have to grab yours and get to work. We out.
Can we just talk for a minute about the Arkansas soybean farmers? Arkansas voted 2/3 for Trump. Trump had promised to implement tariffs. Trump then implemented those tariffs. China has retaliated, and because our soybeans, the tariff war made our soybeans too expensive, they decided to buy their soybeans from Brazil, signed 20-year contracts with Brazil, and now for a generation, the Arkansas soybean farmers are screwed because they lost their biggest soybean customer. And they are demanding compensation. Demanding. I mean, I almost admire it. I almost admire the audacity. But they said they don't really like taking government handouts, but, they really don't have a choice. And they are demanding that we compensate them.
So the people who say no handouts just lined up for a handout. Now tell me why farmers in Arkansas are standing outside with their hands out again, begging Uncle Sam for money. See, when it's regular people struggling, rent too high, groceries too ridiculous, can't afford health care, the answer is always from these people: stop complaining, stop asking for handouts, and pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Farmers in Arkansas are crying out to the feds for stimulus money like it's open mic night. And look, I get it, because times are hard everywhere. But when you plant your crops, raise your cattle, take on the risks of farming, wasn't that a personal business decision? So why is it on me and you to make sure that decision keeps paying out? Because see, when you and I make bad decisions, government doesn't cut us a check to make it right for us. Now, let's connect the dots here a little bit. These are the same people voting for the same politicians who say government is the problem. Yet as soon as the tractors stop running and their profits dry up, government magically turns into a solution for them. Ain't that funny and ironic? The question is, do we owe farmers any help? Or do they need to practice what they preach? Figure it out. Tighten that belt. Leave taxpayers out of it. Because last I checked, it's really not our problem to fix somebody else's gamble.
I'm sure you've heard that Arkansas farmers are about to go bankrupt because of the tariffs. But this is what they voted for. Not only did they fail an open book test, we gave them the answers. They don't like politicians and they wanted small government. So they hired a reality star who ran, 4 casinos into the ground. That's like hiring Guy Fieri to run an airport. Actually, that's a bad comparison because Guy Fieri was actually a good businessman. Trump ran casinos into the ground. And I don't know if you know much about casinos, but they're not typically a business that doesn't make money. It's literally where people go to throw their money away. But no, they were always saying, Trump's a businessman, he'll fix the economy. Yeah, and Jeffrey Dahmer was a chef, but you don't invite him to dinner. They wanted a straight shooter. Congrats, you got one. And he shot you straight in the face and then blamed it on China. You'd hear them say, we need to go back to the way America used to be. Yeah, you did. Now your farm's gonna be auctioned off like it's 1932. I mean, you brought back full Depression-era cosplay. But I mean, hey, one woman's emails were too fishy and the other one's laugh was weird, right?
We are being forced to bail out another country's farmers at the expense of our own. EC plans to send Argentina $20 billion in economic assistance. And what does Argentina do? They cut their export taxes and sold shiploads of soybeans to China in just 2 days. Meanwhile, farmers right here in Arkansas are left behind with falling prices and no market. I have been an Arkansas soybean farmer my entire life, until this year, when a deepening farm crisis forced my family to close a 150-year-old operation, and we weren't alone. And now this is coming for even more of us. Politicians like Tom Cotton are letting DC put Argentina over places like Arkansas. As a farmer myself, that is something I would not allow. I will fight for trade policies that put Arkansas farmers first, every time. I'm Hallie Schaffner. I'm the 6th-generation Arkansas farmer running to unseat Tom Cotton in the U.S. Senate.
Everything that could go wrong for Arkansas farmers did go wrong this year, and it's so bad that many are facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations. A dismal global market and plunging commodity prices mean there's little to no hope of breaking even for many farmers, even as sky-high input costs rise because of inflation and now tariffs. Not to mention bad weather earlier in the year.
This time last year, the rice price was about 40% higher than it is now. The inputs costs have gone up, so after a horrible year last year, where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
Though President Trump's big beautiful bill provided a much-needed update to safety net subsidies for farmers, they won't see those federal dollars until late next year, by which time some have projected that as many as 1/4 or even 1/3 of Arkansas farmers will face bankruptcy or be forced to leave the business amid the crisis the American ag economy is currently in. It's already taken its toll this year.
I'm a 6th-generation farmer from Newport, and we made a decision to go out this year, in the spring. So my son will not be the 7th-generation on our farm.
5 of my customers have committed suicide. That's how serious that this is.
Today, Arkansas farmers gathered to share their struggles with staffers from the state's congressional delegation, pleading for Arkansas lawmakers on Capitol Hill and the governor to convince President Trump to provide emergency funding to help them make it to next year.
We have to have ad hoc payments right now to make it through this year.
If there's no emergency funding this year, there will be 1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
Until the federal government steps in to save them, farmers have no one to turn to but God.
So we've got farmers begging for emergency funding, socialism, right now, bailout from the government, or they're going to go under. 1 in 3 farms could go under. How many more farmers are going to unalive themselves in this process? Our food system has painted farmers into a corner, for the most part. You either do it this way, or you get the fuck out. Because the rest of the ways are really unaffordable, unattainable, unsustainable, you'll go under, right? There's some farms that have gotten a niche, whatever. That's fantastic, and I wish more people could do that. But for more farmers to have a niche, how the fuck you say that? They need people like you, shaking their hand, buying the food that they're raising. But also the average farmer is 58 years old, and like half of them are over 65. And the entrance into agriculture for a young person is impossible. Like what young like starting out family is going to can buy 50 acres and run some cows and hogs, run 10 acres. It's $15,000 to $25,000 an acre here, just for the fucking land. And let's not forget that the fucking ocean of corn and beans that we all drive through, that soil is dead. That's why they put all the tile in it, because it can't absorb moisture. It doesn't have any fucking nutrient density. It has no fucking microbial soil life. It has no mycorrhizal fungi. It has nothing. So for our food to be nutrient dense again, the first thing we have to do is rehabilitate all this fucking soil. Oh my God, it's such a fucking can of worms. And we're just speeding down the freeway the opposite direction, the way we need to go. And these people, it's the tribal bullshit is why they voted for Donald Trump. Rural America is fucking red. I've been all over rural America. I speak fluent hillbilly. I can blend right the fuck in. And I'm telling you right now, they fucking hate liberals. Hate liberals. And before Trump, it was never really that bad. It was a little bit with Obama, but it was never, not like this. Now it's just fucking, so I don't like whatever politics, but we're losing our farmers. That's full fucking stop. We're losing our farmers and there's nobody there to replace them. That should fucking horrify all of us.
Arkansas farmers are taking their own lives because of what's happening to their farms because of Trump's policies. And it's only going to get worse for farmers because this is all laid out in Project 2025. So in Project 2025, the plan is to roll back all of the protections that farmers currently have access to. Basically, there's different programs. There's insurance, crop insurance. There's these commodities programs. And most of these are either subsidized or paid for by the government. So farmers, if a small farm gets hit with, a weather disaster or something else happens where they can't profit off their crop like they usually do, they're backed up. They're safe. They can, float for another year because of these programs. They want to get rid of these programs. They want to take the burden of these programs off the government and put it back onto the farmers, meaning these small farms get hit with one disaster and they're fucked. They're done. Guess who won't be done, though, if they get hit with one disaster? Giant mega corporations, these huge corporate farms that have all the capital they need to float if they get hit with a disaster. They're not going to go under. What they're going to do is buy up all these little farms and consolidate them into these giant mega farms. That's what the plan is. And I know it's easy to be like, oh, fuck these farmers. They voted for this. This is what they get. But this isn't good for any of us if this happens. I know like the FAFO is delightful, but it isn't good for any of us. And it's scary. Like these are the people that feed us, that provide our food, and we need them. And it's horrifying to see what they're trying to do to them.
At this point, there is nothing that can be done. On my contrary, you see, this is what they voted for. They knew very well that Donald Trump was even going in their farms and telling them that I will impose tariffs. They thought, I shudder to think, why do these people vote against their own best interests? Because clearly they voted against their own best interests. They forgot that when Donald Trump imposes these tariffs, it will affect their farm tools and equipment, their tractors, their gas. You see, gas is costing twice as much as it used to. Their workforce is gone because immigrants are not showing up. The huge percentage of them have been totally deported or detained by ICE. The remaining ones are afraid to show up because they might be yoinked at any moment by ICE. Tariffs are affecting their exports, their products, their livestock equipments, their tractors, their farm tools and equipments. Everything is going wrong according to what they are saying. Donald Trump is not bailing them out. In fact, he bailed out soybeans farmers in Argentina, but not in Arkansas. Their crops are rotting in their farm. No one is there to pick them. Gas for tractors are skyrocketing. So in short, these soybeans are just popping inside the farms without no one to take care of them. These are the consequences of voting blindly. They voted for this. And we have no sympathy for them because this is exactly what they voted for. And the man they are asking for bailout does not give a middle finger about it because he knows I just used you for elections or votes and then after that I forgot about you. They are crying. Most of them are admitting that they have blood pressure. They are taking medication thrice as the normal recommendation because of the blood pressure, because of the stress, anxiety that is caused by all these issues that they driven themselves into. This is a bed that they made themselves. They should now normalize lying on the bed they made themselves because this is exactly what they voted for. You've heard folks saying that this is exactly what you voted for. What do you want Americans to do? You are asking for welfare and yet you said you are not socialist, you don't need welfare. Why the sudden change of mind? You see, this is exactly what they voted for and they are getting exactly what they voted for. It's harvesting season, but unfortunately for these Arkansas farmers, it's not harvesting season, it is FAFO season, and this FAFO season is knocking at their door. They are now filing for bankruptcy. They are now asking for welfare. They are now begging for bailouts, and they are losing their farms. What is there that can be done, guys? Tell me what you think, because these are the consequences of their actions. They voted blindly, and apparently they got what they voted for. Can we do something about it? I don't think so. Tell me what you think in the comments and see you in the next video after subscribing.